Hey, welcome back to We Who Wander. I'm Kent, this is Heather, and today we're going to be sharing week 2 in review. So week 2 was when we really took our first haul in the rig. It was the first time that we pulled this big boy. It was the first time that we left Idaho. So we left Idaho, we went all the way here to Oregon. And it was an experience, to say the least.
Dad?
We're all right. Thank God we're all right.
Clark, we're stuck under a truck.
Do you honestly think I don't know that?
Come on, you guys, don't fight. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. And forgive my husband. He knows not what he does.
Amen.
So as Kent said, we had to first learn how to pull the trailer. It's one thing to getting used to living in it, but pulling a 37-foot trailer is a whole other ball game.
Yeah.
I grew up driving horse trailers and stock trailers and everything, so I had a little bit of experience with it, but very, very different pulling a rig this big with so much precious cargo and everything inside of it. So it was, it took a little bit of getting used to, but I'd say honestly for me, I started out being the one driving, and within an hour, I was like rolling, put on my classic rock, and I just was like, yeah, I was feeling pretty good going down the highway.
I grew up driving sports cars. It's a little different. And so, you know, I'd pulled a horse trailer that we had at one point. It was like a very small one, but no, this was very different for me. So she took first what, 2.5 hours or whatever. I took the next couple hours after that, and yeah, you know, the truck that we got really makes it feel like you're not pulling when you're driving 50-60 miles an hour. It's pretty amazing. But it was an experience. I mean, I felt like I was constantly looking at my rearview mirrors on the sides, making sure that I'm like in the lines. The turns, you have to make such wide turns. It's crazy. You're like in the other person's coming direction lane, and then you turn just to not hit, you know, the side of the trailer. So it was a learning experience for me. But it was really good.
And you have to be aware of things you're not aware of normally, which is how high are those power lines that cross the road, or how far down is that, what do you call those, traffic light hanging. There was one time I was like holding my breath.
That was like right when we were leaving Idaho, actually. I was like, I stuck my head out the window. I was like, okay, you got about 8 inches, you're okay.
My goodness, things you do not think about in normal day-to-day life. But yeah, so we left Idaho and went to Oregon.
We made it.
And we made it.
Well, we almost made it. So before we left, I was feeling rushed to get out of the RV park. Like, it was our first time packing everything up, making sure everything was in order before we haul. And the night before, I had went and got a brand new water hose to be able to clean things out, whatever. So that morning, I'm like, you know, flushing and dumping and all these things, and the water hose burst. And so I have to like go to Walmart and get a new one and all this stuff. So I'm rushed on time. And Heather mentions, hey, should we like get gas or get some diesel before we go? And we had like 3/4 of a tank or something like that. And I was like, we'll be okay. We'll get something on the road. It's fine. We got to get out of here. So we ended up leaving about 15-20 minutes late from when we were supposed to leave the RV park. But we got out of there, drove. And we didn't know, I especially didn't know, that there are no gas stations between where we were, close to Boise, and Central Oregon.
There was one gas station.
Yes, gas, there was. It was like one...
in a like little one-horse town.
Yes, but no diesel.
I wish I had a guy in my life that would stop me before I did something stupid.
Mister!
I don't know why he's an opera singer.
So I was looking at like, okay, how many miles we have to go to the next town, and it was like, okay, I think we'll just make it. But hauling, we got like 5 miles to the gallon, and we were losing fuel fast. So 25 miles before we hit town, I said we got to pull over because we had like no gas. It was like 5, 4, 3, and I was like, okay, we can't pull off in the middle of nowhere with this big trailer. So I found this little, I don't know, rest stop type thing. We pulled off, we de-hitched or unhitched, and I said I'll just drive into town as far as I can, try to get fuel. And so I did. Me and Savannah, we drove. I mean, I was like white knuckling the whole time. I mean, 0 gas, 25 miles to go. And finally, I got to town, and I saw the gas station. I was like, oh yes, diesel. And I do a little U-turn, I pull in, and I run out of gas, I run out of diesel about 20 feet before the station in a 1-ton truck. And so I was like, ah, and it's like beeping at me. I'm trying to start it. It's like, and so these 3 guys come out. It was awesome. These 3 guys come out, and they push the truck for me, and we get diesel.
Guys, we ran out of gas
On the first trek.
first trip.
The first trek.
We were trying not to take that as a sign.
So I got the fuel, went back, grabbed them, hooked back on, and we came all the way here. We first got to the expo center in Deschutes area, Deschutes County, and it was actually great. I mean, it was more of like a parking lot. There's an expo center, a fairgrounds, and all this stuff, but there's huge fields around it, great hikes around it, all this stuff where one of my daughters could skateboard, one of my daughters could play baseball. It was great, actually.
Yeah, except during this time that we're traveling, there's been, I mean, fires.
This is true.
And so even in Idaho, it was really pretty smoky, a bit like kind of wreaked havoc on our sinuses and everything. But in Oregon, first stop, Expo Center, we wake up in the morning and look at the weather, and it literally says smoke. The weather is smoke.
I didn't know that was a option for the weathermen.
Not partly cloudy, smoke. And it was not, it was smoke. And so we...
You could stare at the sun. Not that you should, but you could.
So Cadence and I got up in the morning and went on a long walk, and we were like, felt like I had smoked a pack of cigarettes. Not that I know what that feels like, but it was a lot of smoke. And so, yeah, we really did enjoy the Expo Center. It was great, but...
Met a guy who really helped me figure out some internet stuff, because we were still having trouble with the internet. Still wasn't really working, and so that was really awesome. It's great, like, you find people everywhere you go. There's someone there to help you. It's actually been really pleasantly surprising.
I read this online when we were doing some research and everything, that the RV community was really special, and so far we're finding that to be the case. People are super helpful and really ready and willing to just do whatever they can to help you out.
Yeah, it's cool.
I will say, this was our first time backing the rig into a spot. It was not a pull-through spot, it was a back-in spot. In my mind, I'm thinking, I can back a trailer, no problem. It's a little bit different. So we don't exactly have a fifth wheel, and we don't exactly have a gooseneck in our hitch. It's a different hitch. I don't know, maybe you can do a whole thing.
It's an Anderson.
So when you get really jacked into one particular direction, when you back up, the trailer doesn't go the way that you think it's supposed to go.
Plus the hitch on the trailer, it's not like a normal hitch that just kind of stays put. It moves. So you have this pivot point, you get this pivot point, you got that. I mean, it's like all over the place.
So one word for trying to back the trailer in the first time: humbling. Like, humbling. So made the decision, we got in.
How?
How did we get in?
He drove all the way around and we went on the grass and pulled through. There's like this much space between the gate and the. Anyways,
We pulled through.
we pulled through. But it was kind of cool.
non-pull-through spot.
It was great because again, the expo center that we stayed at, or right there, huge parking lots, and there wasn't really anything going on. And so we actually spent, and you'll see some video of this, but we spent some time learning to pull up to something and back in, and we did pretty good.
I think we did great.
Yeah.
We did great.
So we learned that. We took about an hour to learn that. That was awesome. Yeah, and then we ended up leaving there. We went to Smith Rock. It was just gorgeous and beautiful. And then we hiked there. We moved on out to where we are, which is the Cove Palisades, close to Culver. And it was, I mean, goodness, can you look around you? I mean, we'll show you tons of footage, but it's been amazing here.
It's been
We've been staying at the state park. I'd say the one hiccup is that I guess state parks don't have sewer, and so we didn't realize how much water we use, like all the time. So within 2 days, our gray water, which is shower and sink and all that stuff, is like in the sink, and so we had to
Hook
go
all back up.
close it up, go run it, dump it, go back in again. Yeah, we're getting there.
So let me just say about week 2. Week 2 is where I started to be like, can we afford to do this? Because we have just been hemorrhaging cash.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's like $200, $300, $1,000. It's just like money, 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 money. It's been a lot. And I guess people say that in the beginning.
Like the first 3 months is like bleeding money constantly.
Yeah, oh gosh, that's hard to get prepared for. It's just so much money. And because it's you need this hose and you need this extra thing. And it's not just like, oh, it's nice to have. It's like, no, you need it. That's been a little bit like, okay, just trust
and
the
also
process.
this was the week that we really planned for the next 2 months. And everywhere we're staying. So of course, when you're staying places, you're booking places and you're spending the money. And so it's like $100 there, $300 there. It adds up.
Yeah, big shout out to AllStays, which is what we're
AllStays
using.
Pro.
AllStays Pro.
It's like $38 a year.
And it shows all the available campgrounds. I mean, it makes it super, super easy. So, but you still have to take the time. Like, you're still looking at each campsite. Does it have what you need? And I mean, this has been a whole new learning. It's like a full-time job, figuring out where you're gonna stay.
Especially if you're doing what we're doing. I mean, if you're full-timing but you're staying somewhere a month or 3 weeks or whatever. But we're staying places like
sometimes 2 days.
Two times a week usually is kind of our average. 2 times a week is we're checking in somewhere.
Yeah.
And so, but that's what we're choosing to do. So we're gonna travel around the country, and it's gonna be an adventure, and as it has been.
Yeah, we're still staying in Oregon, but heading to the coast next, and travel up the coast up to Washington, and we'll look forward to sharing all of that with you guys next week.
And everything that's gone on. Week 2 in review.
Yeah, so
My butt hurts so bad.
nice to sit. My legs are asleep actually.